If you look at the old pictures of your city and compare it with the latest one, you can see how the landscape has changed. Have you ever thought why these changes have come? The reasons behind it and how these have been implemented? Some reason would be the better utility and the population growth or functional benefits. Likewise, organisms evolve based on requirements to survive and thrive in changing environment. Let us understand how these changes have been thought about in theory and what evidences we have in support of these theories to understand the change. We have learnt what evolution is. Now let us understand the theories which explain this concept. Here we'll learn what Alfred Wallace, Charles Darwin, and what conventional religious texts says about evolution. Conventional religious literature. The basis of conventional religious literature is on three connotations. First, the earth is about 4,000 years old. Second, all organisms were created as such. And third, that the diversity in all organisms remains same always, both while creation and in future. The next theory was put forward by Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin's theory says that all organisms share similarities with existing life forms as well as the extinct ones. According to him, evolution is a gradual process. In his theory of natural selection, he propounded that organisms with better fitness survive best on natural conditions or requirements. The image here shows the evolution of animals. Next, we'll see what Alfred Wallace has proposed. Alfred Wallace theory. According to him, all organisms shared similarities with common ancestors which lived during different periods of time. Thus, in conclusion, we can say that geological history of Earth is in sync with the biological history. And Earth is not a few thousand years old, but a billions years old. We have so far seen the theories which provided basic information about evolution. Now let us examine the evidences for it. There are different evidences for evolution. One is the fossil evidence. The second is the comparative anatomy and morphological evidence. The third is the natural selection evidence. And the fourth is embryological support for evolution. Let us now decode them one by one with examples. We'll start with the fossil evidence. Fossil evidence are remains of organisms such as bones which has evolutionary value. Sediments accumulate over one another over a period of time which contains information about evolution. The study of these fossils is known as paleontology. Reveals information about both the organism that existed and the period in which they existed. We have clearly understood the fossil evidence aspects of evolution. Now let us compare anatomy and morphology of organism to understand evolution. Comparative anatomy and morphology study shows similarities and differences between extinct and living organism. There are two types of evolution that can be seen in this study. One is the convergent evolution and the other is divergent evolution. Now we have seen the definition of comparative anatomy and morphology. Let us now understand their types starting from the divergent evolution. Divergent evolution is also called homologous evolution. In this type of evolution, the structure and origin of organs of organisms are same, that is common ancestry, but their functions are different. Hence, we give the name as divergent evolution. For example, the forelimbs of humans, cats and whales are anatomically similar, but their functions are different. Another examples include thorns of bougainvillea plant and tendrils of cucurbita. Now let us understand the next type, that is convergent evolution. Convergent evolution is also known as analogous evolution. In this, the structure and origin of organs of organism is not similar, but they evolve for the same function. For example, the eye of octopus and mammals. Another example includes the flipper of dolphin and penguins. Another example, which is plant-based, includes the root modification of sweet potato and stem modification of potato. They are modified to store food. Now let us understand the next type of evidence for evolution, which is natural selection. A comparative study of moth's wing in two periods, which is pre-industrialization and post-industrialization period. The moth had more whiter wings in pre-industrialization period, and after industrialization, the wings of moth were dark wing. The purpose of this evolution was to seek the protection from predation. During pre-industrialization period, white colored lichen covered tree trunks, where these white wings moths survived. Post-industrialization, the tree trunks had become dark due to smoke, and white-winged moths were eaten by predators. Similar observation can be seen in evolution of bacteria to resist penicillin. Initially, colonies sensitive to penicillin died. Later on, they underwent mutation to survive penicillin. The bacteria penicillin example can be considered as an example of evolution by anthropogenic action. We can also conclude that evolution is not a directed process by determinism, rather a stochastic process based on chance events and chance mutation. We have seen the process of natural selection. Now let us understand the final evidence, which is the embryonic evolution. This evidence was later rejected. This theory was proposed by Ernest Haeckel. He said that certain embryonic features common to all vertebrates, include humans, were absent in their adult stage. However, this theory was disapproved by the study of Carl Ernst von Baer. Carl Ernst von Baer denied that the embryo of complex organism passes through several morphological stages compared to the lower level organism. Thus, we have understood what evolution is, the theories of evolution and the evidence to back it up. Now, do you think the species stays in the same place as the environment of that place change? Apart from changing its anatomy and morphology, what other things do you think they take up to thrive in such environments? Let us understand that in our next video. Let's summarize what we have learned.
Manorama Horizon, learning made simple.